Hello. In order to complete this exercise, you must have received your drawing and painting material kit. If you have not already received it, please contact Miss Magnetico immediately so that we can figure that out and so that you can complete this assignment. For those of you that already have your drawing and painting material kit, this assignment is going to be a way for you to explore each one of the items that you will find in your kit. First thing that you want to look at is the inventory. This is a list of all of the contents that should be in your kit. There is a little bit of a discrepancy, and we'll talk more about that in a moment. You'll also see a sketchbook. This sketchbook has nice thick paper and can be used for both drawing or painting. I'd first like you to find a blank page, and at the top, write down material exploration. Do this in an interesting way. Think of these like visual notes. So not only are you writing the information, but you're also including visual elements and color. Make it more interesting to look at so that it is a piece of art all into itself. The next thing we'll look at is the eraser. I'm pretty sure you all are familiar with erasers. This is a pretty good one. Take it out of its plastic packaging. It's used to get rid of mistakes, but more importantly, when you're drawing, it can also be a tool as well. For example, if you shade a certain area and you just want to shave off a little bit of the darkness there, you can do that with an eraser. Oftentimes people think of erasers as like ways of getting rid of mistakes, but in drawing, it's really about adding with your pencil or your other material and then taking away with your eraser. They kind of work 50-50, hand in hand. You'll also notice a little baby pencil sharpener. The best way to use this type of pencil sharpener is to sharpen slowly and also flip it so that it's the way you see in the picture, so that the razor is on the top. This way, as you're sharpening your pencil point, you can watch and see if the pencil's done being sharpened. It's best not to over sharpen your pencils. You want to get a good point, but if you get it too pointy, then it'll just keep breaking on you. This is the part of the inventory that might be different for some people. Unfortunately, some of the kits went out without these two items in there. In fact, the 4B pencil did not go out with the kit. So some of you will have received just a regular yellow pencil, and some of you have already also have a fine point Sharpie, but some of you did not. So you will not be penalized for not having these materials in your kit. Please let me know if you don't have them as well. Sorry about that. Okay, so everyone does have this one. This is a 2H drawing pencil. So it's different than a regular pencil because the lead is harder. So lead is made up of something called graphite and clay. And when you put graphite, which makes the color or the mark on the paper, and clay together, the more clay you add, the harder the lead is. So it makes a lighter mark. Use this 2H drawing pencil when you're beginning a drawing so that your lines are lighter and therefore easier to erase. Okay, I want you to label a section on your material exploration page. Label it pencils. Then experiment, if you have both of the pencils, experiment with the way that you can shade with both the HB and the 2H. Notice the difference and the similarity in both of them. Okay, everyone also has an extra fine point Sharpie marker. Chances are you've used something like this before. It's a permanent black marker, so if it gets on a table or clothing, the ink will not come out, so please be careful with that. Also, if you hold the marker in one place on the page, it could bleed through the page. So be careful of that as well. Okay, now I want you to label another section, label it Sharpies. If you have both of the fine point and the ultra fine point, I'd like you to label both and make marks. If you only have the ultra fine point, that's okay as well. Make as many different types of marks as you can on the paper using that Sharpie. Colored pencils. These are actually pretty good colored pencils. I've been enjoying using them. They're very bold and they fill up the paper pretty quickly. So for best results when using colored pencils, it's best to layer one color on top of the other. It's not really the best practice to just shade the color one time and leave it at that. So it's really, colored pencils are meant to be layered one on top of the other. Oops. So I want you to label a new section on that same page. Label it color pencils. I sometimes say color pencils or colored pencils, color pencils. And I want you to make a design that layers different colors on top of one another. So you can see here I shaded some orange and then I layered some red on top, then I layered some yellow on top of that. You can see this turquoise little circle here is layered on top of the red. So go ahead and make a design using a bunch of different colors from your colored pencil kit. Now we're moving into the world of charcoal. So you have 3 different types of charcoal in your bag. The first one is vine charcoal, and this is in its own separate little baggie because it is messy. So always keep this vine charcoal in that extra little Ziploc. It breaks easy because it's made from burnt vines, from actual, tree vines that are burnt down and turned into their basic element, which is carbon. It's really fun to use. It's easy to erase. So just know that it's also best if you break it into smaller pieces as you're using it. Not teeny tiny pieces, but usually I'll break my sticks in like half so that they're easier to manage. The other type of charcoal you have is a black charcoal pencil. So this is also made from burnt wood, except for it's in like a pencil form. So it's not as messy. This is much darker than vine charcoal, so the marks that you make will be much darker. It does not erase well. So once you draw with this on your paper, if you try to erase it, it really won't go away. You'll see a ghost image of what you had already drawn, which maybe you want, but just know that as you're using it. It can be sharpened with your pencil sharpener, but you have to do it carefully because the point will consistently break over and over again. So just do it very slowly and carefully. The last piece of charcoal that you have is a white charcoal pencil. So this is also charcoal. This works well when layered over a colored pencil or regular pencil or vine charcoal, and it can also be sharpened. Label another section on your material exploration page, charcoal, and then experiment making marks with the 3 different types of charcoal that you have in your kit. The last tool that we'll talk about is the blending stump. So this is a rolled up piece of paper. Don't unroll it. That's not going to help you. Keep it rolled up. And what you do is you can use the side or the tip of this blending stump to smooth out an area that you've drawn. Let's say you shaded with pencil and you want to smooth that area out. You can do that. You can also take some of the dark area of a drawing and then use this to kind of pull that dark area out and make it a little lighter as you go out. This can be cleaned by rubbing onto a blank sheet of paper. So the area that's dark or that gets like dirty on the blending stump, if you take that and you rub it onto a blank sheet of paper, then whatever's on that blending stump will get off onto the blank paper and then you'll have like a clean blending stump again. Okay, so the last thing I want you to do on this material exploration assignment is label the last part mixed. For this section, I would like you to fill up the rest of the page with a design that uses all of your new drawing materials. So it should use every single type of material that you have. And make sure also to experiment with the blending stump and the eraser in this section.